Hi friends, new and old, welcome to the channel. Today we are launching into part 7 of my Monster High G4 project. If you need information on what the G4 project is, you can watch the first video or any of the videos in my playlist. It will be above or in the description. That goes through what this project is and all the characters that we have explained thus far. Today we are focusing on two of the partners, or potential partners, of the main ghouls, and that is Claude Wolf and Gil Weber. So for Claude, he is Claudine's twin brother, and Draculaura's boyfriend. When I was making him, I kept a lot of his influence from like Gen 1, where he was this very like kind of attached but very loving boyfriend. And when I designed his character, I really wanted it to be more dog coded than wolf coded, because I have a lot of werewolf characters. Monster High just has a lot of them, and so I tried really hard to give each wolf character different werewolf traits so that they all were different. And so Claude very much fit into the more domestic dog than wolf, but his heritage, he is a werewolf with a human form that is less furry and animalistic, is human form. However, he has facial hair, even though he's only 16, which I guess isn't super uncommon, but he has more facial hair than a normal 16-year-old would have, I guess. He has brown skin or fur. He is tall and has a chunky body type. He has glowing golden eyes, has sharp canine teeth, and has a wolf tail and ears. I realized I didn't describe his hair in my notes. He has curly brown hair. His general style and aesthetic is that I gave him this like teen wolf vibe. He's like the jock, varsity jacket jock with like jeans and stuff, not like gym clothes jock, you know? He has a lot of paw prints and claws on his like motifs. As for his personality, he is the best friend that you could ever ask for. He is in every sport. He's due to having very high energy and a lot of team spirit, and he wants to spend all of his free time with his family, his friends, his girlfriend. He always likes to be surrounded by people. However, he doesn't do well when he is left alone. He gets really like restless and lonely. He also does not sit down for long periods of times because, again, high energy, extremely active. He cannot sit still for a very long period of time. So tests and stuff are not something he thrives in. He loves sports. He's in every sport, specifically basketball. He also loves playing catch, frisbee, that kind of stuff. And he loves going to like the public parks. Like I said, he hates being alone. He hates thunderstorms. He isn't scared, but he gets kind of unsettled during them. And he hates very hot days. Just those really, like, unbearably warm days. He just, no. Because you're too hot to move, too hot to do anything. And he's hot, and he has to move, but he's too hot to move. He always has a casket ball with him. Just in case he wants to, play around in the gym, and also a fidget cube so that he can sit still for, when he has to. As far as like clubs and activities, he's the captain of the basketball team. The amount of times I said basketball in this video is absurd. He's also in the outfield of batball, which is just baseball. And he's also on the track and field team. He also is a member of the Werebeast affinity group, which is just It's a club where all the werebeasts get together and talk about, what it's like being half monster with like some human uh, abilities. Ability is not the right word. Appearance, and like that's like kind of a weird in between. So they have like a bonding group for that. As far as his family, I say this when I talked about Claudine, but his family consists of werewolf parents, his twin sister Claudine, and then two younger siblings who are twins, Howleen and Howl. And his brother Howl is studying abroad in London. As far as his friends, his best friend is Deuce Gorgon. They're both basketball players. They're also, once Cleo ends up joining the main group, they both kind of bond over being the boyfriends. They're always there, and so they bond over the fact that they're the two guys in the group. He also is very close with members of his teams, the sport teams. And his girlfriend is Draculaura. The getting together was a little awkward. They were very, like, both extremely unobservant, and were, like, pining for each other, but, like, never, were like, oh, I like them, but they don't like me back, blah, 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 for a while. And then they finally got together, and they're both extremely social. They always love being around people, which is great because they both like being around each other, but which can make them clingy, but it's not exclusively with each other. They can go and be with other people. They don't have to be with each other. They just need to be around people. And since they both need to be around people, they're usually together. He also has a pet dog, a family pet, which is Eclipse, which is a black bulldog. On to the second character. Gillington Gil Weber is a lake sea monster. Gil is a weird case for me. He's not really in Generation 3 at all, so I couldn't really... He was been in, I think, one episode right before the show kind of got canceled or put on hiatus or whatever it's doing right now. So I couldn't pull from that. And I said this again when I talked about Laguna. I have mixed feelings about Gil because the concept of prejudice between saltwater and ocean, like saltwater, freshwater sea monsters is interesting, but the way they conveyed it was annoying, and Gil was probably the worst perpetrator for this, as far as just... He just never stood up for Laguna in a way that felt like they are not the only character to have this, oh, my parents don't like you, but we love each other dynamic. It is the same dynamic that Generation 1 Cleo and Deuce kind of had, but they worked better because there was never a point where Cleo really, like... There were times where she would do things to appease her parents, but she never, like... I don't know. It's really hard to explain. The people that have seen it know what I'm talking about. It's like where Cleo and Deuce clearly care about each other. Like in Generation 1, they clearly care about each other, and that's why they're still dating, even though there are external people trying to break them up. Gil and Laguna are constantly, like, claiming that they love each other, but at the same time, they weren't good for each other, and it just wasn't worth... It just never seemed like it was worth the hassle that they were going through, even though the cause was good. Like, obviously, nobody wants to be broken up because of, like, weird prejudice. Like, that's clearly not okay. But I just don't think these two characters should have been together. So, when trying to redo Gil, I needed to take what I liked about him, which was very little, and kind of went my own direction with him. So I leaned into this like preppy, sheltered kid angle for Gil, where he, first of all, nobody really had that like boat club preppy energy. When I designed this character, when I designed Gil, no joke, the character that I stole the most inspiration for is Richard Gansey the third from a series called The Raven Cycle. If you know who that is, you'll know what I'm talking about. Where it's a raised, sheltered because they had a really like privileged upbringing and doesn't understand how the real world works, but doesn't mean to be, they don't mean to be like insensitive or sheltered. They just come off that way because that's just, they are unaware of how the real world works. And so I really leaned into that for Gil because I felt like that was a much more interesting angle to take this character. So Gil is a like sea monster, like I said. He has blue-green skin, and is tall and athletic. He has long, algae-colored fins on his arms and legs, and webbed fingers and toes, and an algae-colored fin over his head that's flopped over, partly to replicate, hair, but also because sea life in captivity can have damage where their top fins are all bent. And I felt like that kind of narratively explained his sheltered upbringing. He has protruding, fishy, sandy colored eyes and sharp teeth. But he's like this yacht prep club energy, wears like polos and khakis and board shorts and like has marine themes and motifs. He's from old money. He's an old money family. He never flaunts the fact that he came from and has money, but because he can be overly polite and apologetic, but also can lead him to say things that come off either naive or condescendingly on accident. Because of having this, he was prolonged time in the water and didn't spend a lot of time on land, at home. He needs more water than other sea-based monsters, so he's constantly like having to drink or hydrate in different ways. Like even Laguna needs to like hydrate because that's what sea monsters generally do, if they're on land for long enough. But he has not had that tolerance. He never had that tolerance build up, so he is constantly needing to drink water to like keep himself hydrated. He's also secretly a dork who loves comic books and tabletop games. That's like his. You meet him and you would assume that he's like, oh, into like different interests, but he's like secretly like a little dork. He constantly has water with him, and he's constantly, on his phone. He's texting his parents because they're like worried about him, and they're like, "Are you okay?" Blah 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 blah. Because they worry about him. They don't mean to be like. They shelter him because they care about him, not because they're like. They're overbearing because they care, not because they're just overbearing, controlling parents, I guess. He's part of the swim team. He's part of the Gamers Guild, which is like the tabletop board game group. His relationship with his parents, Locke Weber and Brooke Weber, it's fine. He's sheltered and they worry about him too much, but at the same time, it comes from a place of care. Like they're not like controlling his life because they want to give him autonomy, but they're scared of what could happen to him. His best friend is Finnegan Wake, and who is a siren that is also on the swim team and is Laguna's cousin. His other close friends are Claude, Heath Burns. He's friends with Gulia Yelps as they play games together. He's friends with Twyla Boogeyman as she is the leader of the Gamers Guild. And he has a crush on Laguna. They kind of have like a little flirt thing back and forth, but they're not officially dating yet. He also has a pet betta fish named Bozo. I will put the spelling on the screen. It is a name of a lake monster, an actual lake, American lake monster. But yeah, that's all I have for this video. Again, kind of a short one today. I'm not sure if I'm reading through these quick enough, like too quickly. I didn't really go through detail because background didn't matter as much for from like this point onward for most of these characters. But yeah, so that's today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you have any questions or any characters that you want me to get to sooner rather than later, let me know down in the comments. I have plenty of characters I have to get through or plan to talk about, but it's nice to know which ones people are more interested and more invested in hearing about, so I can move them higher up the list rather than waiting a while for your favorite character. Yeah, if you like this video, give it a like. If you want to watch more videos like this, subscribe, watch the playlist. And yeah, I think that's everything I have to say for today. You all have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.